The girl was relaxing on the beach, enjoying the artificial sunlight. Suddenly, a man walked up and tried to strike up a conversation with her. Apparently, even though humanity had long since abandoned physical bodies, attraction between the sexes still hadn't disappeared. But it was obvious she wasn't interested. In this digital world built entirely from data, she was a third-rank officer in the security bureau, a position of status and authority. The man in front of her was insignificant, not someone worthy of her attention. Just then, the beach, composed of endless streams of code and information, was suddenly hacked. Angela immediately stood up. Over the public broadcast, the hacker announced shocking news. He had discovered a brand new place for humanity to migrate, located beyond the Orion arm of a distant galaxy. He invited the digital citizens of Paradise to join him in exploring and expanding humanity's next home. He called himself the Pioneer. At the same time, Angela, as an agent of the security bureau, began tracing the Pioneer's intrusion route. This wasn't his first attempt to infiltrate the system, but so far, no one had managed to track him down. All they knew was that the Pioneer came from the small group of humans who had refused digitization and still lived on Earth. Because Earth's ecological collapse had made it nearly uninhabitable, most humans had chosen to abandon their physical bodies, preserving only their consciousness and memories in the digital realm. But a minority still insisted on remaining on Earth. Faced with the Pioneer's repeated intrusions, the Bureau's leadership finally lost patience. They dispatched Angela and others to the surface to locate and capture the Pioneer's physical body. Eager to earn recognition, Angela departed a full day earlier than the rest of her team. When she first set foot on Earth and breathed its air, she couldn't help but feel surprised. Despite the planet's severe deterioration, it didn't seem quite as catastrophic as she had imagined. Using orbital satellite scans, she quickly identified an image of a man named Zarek, also known as Dingo, who was supposed to be her guide. At that very moment, he was driving toward her location. Behind him, countless massive arthropod-like creatures were chasing him. Angela only knew that Dingo had a questionable character record. Seeing him now, she even began to doubt his system's S-class evaluation. She couldn't believe the man in front of her could actually help. After a moment's thought, she slid back to her landing pod and twisted an external valve. A massive egg-shaped machine rolled out. The egg unfolded into a pilotable control unit. Angela smoothly climbed inside. Moments later, the egg transformed into a humanoid combat mech, Davis cutting-edge technology, a battle weapon called Arhem. In an instant, Angela propelled the mech into the sky above Dingo. Without hesitation, she charged straight into the swarm of mutated sandworms. She had assumed wiping out these low-level life forms would be easy, but facing overwhelming numbers, she gradually began to struggle. Dingo tapped his forehead, signaling that the creature's weak point was their heads.
Target routines, forecasting, correction, all set up. Automatic smart fire. Ready.
Within minutes, Angela had eliminated every sandworm on the battlefield. Finally, the two met face to face. Angela teased Dingo about his terrible luck. If she hadn't stepped in, he would have been worm food by now. Dingo calmly explained that he had intentionally lured the sandworms there. Just then, the sound of truck engines echoed in the distance. It turned out everything had been part of Dingo's plan. He had tricked Angela into killing the worms so he could sell their carcasses to traders at a profit.